A young man is pulled from a pit, sold to passing traders, and carried toward a foreign empire where no one speaks of him as a beloved son. This is the Bible, explained, and today we are tracing Joseph's path from family betrayal to Pharaoh's court. We will look at the world behind the story: kinship rivalry, caravan trade, household servitude, prison, dreams, grain administration, famine economics, and the final reunion that frames the whole arc with providence and forgiveness. Joseph's story is deeply theological, but it is also grounded in the ordinary realities of ancient households: labor, scarcity, and power. Joseph's story begins in a family world shaped by fathers, sons, mothers, rivalry, inheritance, status, and memory. He is not betrayed by strangers first, but by brothers. That matters. The wound is domestic before it is political. In the ancient household, a father's favor, a special garment, and dreams of future authority were not small details. They touched questions of honor and family future. The brothers' jealousy grows inside a world where family survival and family rank mattered intensely. When Joseph is cast into the pit, the story becomes more than a moment of cruelty. It is a collapse of brotherhood. The ground of the family gives way. The later reconciliation matters because the original wound was not abstract. It was table-level, tent-level, brother-to-brother betrayal. Joseph is sold into the movement of ancient trade. Caravans carried goods through long-distance routes: spices, balm, resin, textiles, metals, and people. The Bible's picture of traders traveling toward Egypt fits a world where households and empires were connected by commerce across deserts and borderlands. Joseph becomes part of that traffic, reduced from son to slave. The story does not require us to imagine a modern institution with modern paperwork. It asks us to see a young person turned into property within ancient systems of power and survival. His journey downward is social as much as geographic. He leaves the family land, loses control over his own movement, and enters Egypt as someone bought. That makes his later rise all the more astonishing. In Egypt, Joseph serves in an elite household. Ancient households could include servants, slaves, administrators, stewards, guards, and workers with different levels of responsibility. Joseph's service in Potiphar's house shows that enslaved or dependent persons could sometimes be placed in positions of significant trust, while still remaining vulnerable to the power of the household above them. The Bible presents Joseph as capable, faithful, and administratively gifted, but not safe from false accusation. This is important context. A household was both workplace and social hierarchy. Access to rooms, stores, accounts, and authority depended on the master's favor. Joseph's fall into prison after accusation shows how quickly status could collapse when one person's word carried greater power than another's. Joseph's prison story is not merely a pause before promotion. It deepens the pattern of waiting and interpretation. In the prison, he meets royal officials, the cupbearer and the baker, whose dreams become part of the road to Pharaoh. Dreams in the ancient world were often treated as meaningful, sometimes requiring skilled interpretation. Joseph consistently points beyond himself, insisting that interpretation belongs to God. This matters because the story does not present Joseph as a magician or court trickster. He is a faithful interpreter within a culture that took dreams seriously. The prison also shows how forgotten people can still be prepared. Joseph is out of sight, but not outside providence. His gift is exercised in a hidden place before it is needed in a royal one. Pharaoh's court was a world of ceremony, administration, hierarchy, and fear. When Pharaoh's dreams trouble him, Joseph is brought from prison into the presence of the ruler of Egypt. The dream of abundance followed by famine moves the story into economics. Joseph does not only interpret, he proposes administration. Store grain during plenty. Prepare for scarcity. Appoint oversight. This fits the real concerns of an agrarian empire dependent on harvests, storage, distribution, and state power. Grain was not just food. It was security, taxation, payment, and survival. Joseph's rise, then, is not merely personal success. It is a movement from suffering into responsibility. He becomes a steward of life during crisis, using wisdom that touches warehouses, fields, families, and nations. This administrative wisdom also explains why Joseph's role affects more than his private future. He becomes responsible for timing, storage, accounting, and distribution, the kind of unromantic work that determines whether people live through scarcity. Famine in the ancient Near East was not a metaphor. Failed harvests could bring hunger, migration, debt, social upheaval, and desperate dependence on stored grain. Genesis portrays Joseph overseeing collection during years of plenty and distribution during years of famine. Whether we picture storehouses, scribes, measures, guards, or queues of hungry buyers, the story asks us to imagine administration under pressure. Egypt's centralized power made large-scale storage thinkable in a way smaller households could not manage. When Joseph's brothers arrive seeking grain, the family drama is drawn into a broader world crisis. The same famine that threatens many peoples also brings the guilty brothers before the one they wronged. Economics and providence meet in the grain line. Grain had to be measured, guarded, and released with care. In a famine, poor administration could become deadly, so Joseph's wisdom is practical as well as spiritual. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. Genesis 50:20 KJV. Joseph's sentence does not deny evil. He says, ye thought evil against me. Forgiveness in this story is not pretending betrayal was harmless. It is seeing that God was at work across a wider arc than the brothers could understand. The pit, the caravan, the household, the prison, the court, the storehouses, and the reunion are gathered into one providential reading. Joseph can name the evil and still confess that God meant good. That is the heart of the story's mature wisdom. Providence does not make wrongdoing innocent, but it can bring saving purpose through what human sin intended for harm. Joseph's story moves through family betrayal, slave trade, household service, false accusation, prison, dream interpretation, famine administration, and reconciliation. Seeing the historical world does not make the story less spiritual. It makes its mercy more concrete. God works through grain, courts, prisons, documents, hunger, and tears. Joseph's forgiveness is powerful because it comes after real wrong and through real history. The main lesson is not that suffering is easy, but that God can weave a larger purpose than the people who harmed us intended. Subscribe to the Bible, explained for more calm, reverent Bible education, and may the word become clearer, steadier, and nearer as you keep learning.